Thank you, Les. Thank you, God's in the House band. Give him another hand. Nice. And that is a perfect song for our theme this month. It's a new month. We always have a new theme for the month, and this one is pretty much about doing what that song just said, to let our big, bright, brilliant beam of radiant light shine. And in case you didn't get all those words, those were a lot of words. Those are a lot of lyrics in that song, I know. Do you have a chance to breathe in that song? I know. That's a Karen Drucker song, and she really packed a lot of lyrics into that song. So that is our theme for the month, basically. That's not the title of it, but the idea is to let that big, bright, brilliant beam of radiant light shine. And I want to give us a theme quote, and it's not from Ernest Holmes. I know. It's from perhaps an unlikely source, but it is from the creative, brilliant, genius mind of Thomas Edison. And Thomas Edison said, I'm going to quote this every single Sunday because I want us to feel and get the impact of these words. He said, if we did all the things we are capable of doing, we would literally astound ourselves. If we did all the things we are capable of doing, we would literally astound ourselves. So, of course, you know me, I can't leave well enough alone, ever. I have to tweak it, change it, mix it up, expand it, make it my own. So we're going to change that a bit simply to make it personal. If I did all the things I am capable of doing, I would astound myself. Now, I'm not just talking me, I'm talking all of us. So how about if we make that a personal statement right here? Would you be willing to say after me, if I did all the things I am capable of doing, I would literally astound myself. And I am ready to be astounded. This month I'm going to be astounded. All right. Well, we've set the intention. We've set it in motion. So, as the saying goes, Katie bar the door, because we're off and running. So, said another way, this month we're going to focus on using the power that is at our fingertips to, I'm going to put this word in quotes, succeed. Now, that word has lots and lots and lots and lots of meanings. And I want it to mean for you whatever it means for you. But just as some examples, and then I'm going to ask you if I've missed any, but as some examples, succeeding could mean having a purpose-filled vocation. Succeeding could mean finding a soul-satisfying, intimate partnership relationship. Succeeding could mean dynamic, vibrant, and radiant vitality and health. Succeeding could mean an abundant flow of prosperity. Succeeding could mean walking in a state of grace and peace all the time. Succeeding could, all of the above, right? That's what I figured we're going to get. Succeeding could mean experiencing deep and abiding joy regardless of the conditions and circumstances that are in front of us. Succeeding could mean making a profound difference in the lives of others. Did I miss something? Is there anything that I didn't cover there that you think is a definition of succeeding? No, we got it? Good job. So you want a couple of those? Like all of them? We want all of the above. I'll have it all. I'll have it all. Thank you. Yeah. So that's the definition I want us to come from of succeeding this month. That's those things. That's what a successful life looks like. So this month we're going to look at, as I said a second ago, using the power that is at our fingertips, that infinite power of life, the universal power of life that created us out of itself and therefore imbued in us all of its qualities. Universal energy, source, God, Henry, whatever term or word you want to use to call it, or Henrietta, it doesn't make any difference. There is that one power, that one presence that is the energy of life itself that has imbued us with its nature, and its nature is to create, and its nature is to expand, and its nature is to succeed, and therefore it is our nature. It is only us that get in the way of that divine inherent nature. this month, we're going to use a specific book to help us get out of our own way to tap into the divine nature. And this is not a new book. It's many years old, it's over 10 years old, but I love it. And it's called The Success Principles, How to Get From Where You Are to Where You Want to Be by Jack Canfield. Anybody recognize that name, Jack Canfield? What else was he involved in? Just a little tiny project called the Chicken Soup for the Soul series, right? That first book, by the way, they had a hard time, he and his partner had a hard time pitching the first Chicken Soup for the Soul to get it published. Nobody wanted it. They didn't think it was a good idea. Now, how many Chicken Soup for the Soul books are there? I can't even count the number. So he knows what he's talking about. We're going to take this book and use some principles out of it. Now, here I have to give you 2 caveats. Caveat number 1 is there are 64 principles in this book. It's a little overwhelming. We will clearly not hit all 64, but I encourage you, if you're interested in them, to buy the book. We've got a lot in the Wisdom Center bookstore to have on hand if you want to buy it. And so run to the bookstore and get the book if you want it. It's a great resource book to have on your shelf. We will hit some of what I consider the high of the highlights in these 4 weeks. So that's caveat number 1. We're not going to cover the whole book. I invite you to cover it yourself. The second caveat is that it's a little bit heady versus hearty, if you know what I mean, hearty. So there's some real technical practices to do. So this is going to be a little bit of a teaching month. Are you okay with that? Okay, good. We're going to touch the heart, but more this month, a little bit of, these are some practical, real-life steps that you can do to really move yourself forward to that level of success, which included those things like feeling joy and connection and feeling like you're walking in grace. Those are heart things. But our time together here will be a little bit more in the head than in the feeling heart. So you may not cry this month. Dang it. But I hear you all got a good dose of that last week with Reverend Renee. So, that's a good thing. All right. So today we're going to lay the foundation. And we're actually going to take the first 2 principles that are in the book, because Canfield says, and I completely agree, that they are the foundation on which everything else is going to follow. Everything else follows on these. If you don't have these 2, the rest of them are just going to kind of fall flat. They're not going to take you to where you want to go. So we really need to get these first 2 really down pat. And those are the 2 that we'll look at today. The first one is the principle of, so everybody take a deep breath, because this is not something you've never heard before, but you're going to hear it again in maybe a slightly different way. Take 100% responsibility for your experience. Right. 100% responsibility for your experience. So from this moment forward, no more blame. Righto? Yeah, I see some squirming going on out there. Right. If we're going to take 100% responsibility for our experiences, there's no blame to be done. And if we are blaming, that is a sure indicator that you're not taking responsibility for it. All right? So I have a belief that everything in our life, everything happens one of 3 ways. We bring it into our life one of 4, 4 ways. The first way is we consciously create it, all right? And we know that, that's what we're talking about here. We set an intention, we get out the blocks out of the way, and we move forward and we create it. And we've all had experiences where we consciously created an experience. So way number 1, and it's the fun way, and it's the way we get what we want, is that we consciously create it. We also sometimes consciously create what we don't want. We're conscious of it, but we still do it. So conscious creation is the first way. The second way is we promote it. We don't create it directly, we promote it. What does that mean? Promote it means that we've got unconscious beliefs running that we let run rampant in us, and then they are what we're creating from. So we're not consciously creating it, but we're promoting it by letting those unconscious beliefs run rampant in us. The third way is that we allow it. We allow it. Meaning we are susceptible to a term that Ernest Holmes used that needs definition. It's called race consciousness. Race consciousness is a science of mind term, and I don't know, what the heck does that mean? It has nothing to do with race as in Caucasian or African American or Asian. That's not race, it's human race. And it's the collective consciousness of the human race that we let influence us unless we consciously choose to change it. So, for example, a race consciousness idea that we might allow to run in us is that as you age, your body deteriorates. That's a race conscious belief, because that does not happen in all cultures. It's ours. At least in one place anyway, it's here in the West. We believe, and I hear it all the time, well, I'm after 40, so my eyesight's starting to go. Hello? Does that have to be? I'm 64. How old am I? 4. I don't wear glasses, right? It doesn't have to be that way. Now, if you are wearing glasses, don't think I'm coming down on you. I'm not at all. I'm not at all. Believe me. I promise I'm not. I love all of you, and it's fine. But I'm just saying that we buy into race-conscious beliefs, and that's how we allow things to be created in our lives. The fourth way, so there's conscious creation, there's promotion, there's allowing, and the fourth one is the one we simply step in. What? What does that mean? We step in it. We how the heck did that happen? I had nothing to do with that. There's no way that I created that. Well, then you just stepped in it. All right? You stepped in it. The fact of the matter is, it's still there. And what you do with it is what makes a difference. And that's all that matters, is what you do with it. So honestly, how it got created, to me, is somewhat irrelevant. It's what we do with it that makes all the difference in the world. And so Canfield gives us a formula. Tim Patterson, our board president, wears this formula on his wrist, actually, all the time. He's got it on his wrist right now. The formula is E plus R equals O. E plus R equals O. E stands for an event. Something was created. R stands for our response. O stands for the outcome. The event plus our response equals the outcome. The only thing that we have true control over is what? In that formula? The R. The R is the only thing that we really truly have any say about. That's it. That's it. So we have two choices with that R. We can, if we've stepped into something, or unconsciously allowed it, or promoted it, or even created it, and it isn't, oh my gosh, that's not what I wanted after all. We have two ways to deal with that R, and I already spoke of the first way, which we've said we're not going to do from this moment forward, and that's we can move into the blame game, the victim game. Oh my golly, woe is me. That's the Velcro on the back of the hand, Velcro to the forehead kind of position. How did this happen to me? You can blame the economy. You can blame the weather. You can blame the lack of money, the lack of education. You can blame the current administration in Washington. You can blame the past administration in Washington. You can blame your spouse, your employer, etc., etc. You're a golf player, you can blame your golf clubs. You're a snow skier. We used to have a thing, I don't ski much anymore, I haven't in years, but I used to ski all the time. And when we would fall, we would say, oh, a snow snake ran in front of me and tripped me. Right? Well, of that litany of things we could blame that I just said, the only one that actually isn't true is the snow snake. The rest of them, those are facts. Those are events. Yes. But how you respond is the only thing that matters and that makes a difference. And when you change your response, you change that outcome. Thank you, Barbara. When you change the response, you have to change the outcome. And if you do that and it's still not the outcome that brings you the greatest joy and happiness and our definition of success, well then change your response again. Now, what is your response? What are things that are your response? The way you're thinking about something? what you're saying about it, the way you're acting around it, the way you're responding to whatever the interaction might be. Those are the ways that you respond, the activities that you engage in, that's your response. E plus R equals O. So say that out loud with me. E plus R equals O. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, which you have already, is this week to really be thinking about that formula. And really seeing when this happens, and I don't like it, because if you like what happens, you're fine. You don't need to deal. That's good. But if something happens in your life that you don't like, and you get into one of those, or is that just me that does that? That's just me that does that. Okay, right? No. A couple of you stomp your foot and every now and again. Yeah. If you do that, poor Lonnie has to put up with that now and again, right? So you heard that confirming giggle there, yes. Yeah, right. What is your R? Look at your R in that moment. Well, that R is not going to get you the outcome that you want, clearly. Change it. Consciously choose to change it. This month, stand guard the portal of your mind. I say that quote all the time from Ralph Waldo Emerson. I love it. Notice your response. Notice your response. Change it. Change it however you know to change it, and then observe the outcome. Now, it may not be an outcome that happens tomorrow, but continue with that changed response and see how life unfolds, all right? So that's your first one. That's principle number 1 in this Success Principles book. So when you get it, you only now need to read 63, not 64, because I've given you all you need to know about the first principle, although there's more in it, of course. He gives great examples. He is a master of giving examples. I mean, he's the chicken soup for the soul guy. He's the master of testimonial stories. So he's got great examples and great stories in the book. You probably still want to get the book. But that's the foundational ideas around take full 100% responsibility for yourself. I want to give us now the second one, which you have heard me talk about so many times, but today I'm going to give you a new way to go about it that just might be very, very supportive and helpful for you. Remember, both of these are the foundation on which all the rest of them grow. So first one is take responsibility. The second one is get clear about why you are here. That purpose thing. I don't know my purpose. I can't find my purpose. What is my purpose? I hear that so much. I get it. But it is only when you get clear about your purpose that life really will unfold for you in the way that you want it to, in the way that you will consider successful. I am so glad that you are here today because you are going to get a formula. We have another formula today for helping you articulate your purpose. And we're going to do that in just a minute. But I want to read to you what Canfield says about purpose. He says, with a purpose, everything in life seems to fall in place. To be on purpose means you're doing what you love to do, doing what you're good at, and accomplishing what's important to you. When you are truly on purpose, the people, resources, and opportunities you need naturally gravitate toward you. Important sentence there. The world benefits too, because when you act in alignment with your true life purpose, all of your actions automatically serve others. You have a purpose. It's there, it's in you. It was planted in you when you came into this earth. Now, you may not know what it is. You may have ignored it. You may have been trying to find it and you can't. But it won't let you go until you find it. It's like the pea under the mattress. You know what I'm talking about? How many of you know what I'm talking about? The Princess and the Pea, that great story, fable, Princess and the Pea. And I can only, when I think of that, can only think of the old, and I'm totally going to date myself here, but the old Carol Burnett show. Do you remember Carol Burnett as the princess on that stack of mattresses, and she can't fall asleep, and she's got her rear end up in the air, and because there's a little pea under there that bothers her. It was only the princess that would feel that pea. Our purpose, if we have not identified it and articulated it, will be like that little pea. It will not let us go until we get it, until we anchor in it. So, what is yours? If you this morning are saying, I don't know, I'm going to tell you what it is right now. Okay, are you ready? You might want to write this down. So I'm going to tell you what it is, and then we are going to find out. I'm going to give you a way to articulate yours specifically to you. But we all have the same purpose, and it is to awaken to who and what you are in God and who and what God is in you. Let me say it again. Your purpose is to awaken to who and what you are in God and who and what God is in you. Simple, that's it. Yeah, right. Yeah, it's the, well, what does that mean? That's the question. What does that mean? But I want you to know, if you have been struggling with your purpose, that's it. So let go of the struggle. Today, say, I let go of the struggle. Because today I know. My purpose is to awaken to who and what I am in God. And who and what God is in me. There it is. That's it. That's it. That's our purpose. Now, there are two fundamental ways that you will know if you are living that purpose. You are two fundamental ways. There are two things happening in your life. And when these things are happening, all that, those ways that we succeed that we identified at the beginning, they happen too. They're a result of this. Two things that are going on in your life when you're on purpose. You live in joy. That is joy that is not conditioned upon what's happening out there. It's just a joy, an internal joy. And you are of service. You live in joy and you are of service. Joy and service. Those are the two. Now, and I don't mean you have to go work for a homeless shelter to be of service. I don't mean you have to become a minister to be of service. I mean you are being of service whatever you're doing. If you're a janitor cleaning up a school, you're in service to those kids that you're creating a beautiful environment for. Well, teachers are, yeah. I mean, that's one where you can clearly go, oh, that's service. But anything you do, you can be in service if you have the consciousness that you are being of service. There's a difference. All right. Now, I'm going to give you a formula for articulating a specific purpose for you. It's a 4-step process. All right? I told you, today is kind of heady, but this is good stuff, I think. So I hope you do too. 3 questions. I wanted to just say, buy the book and do this, but in case you don't buy the book, I want to give this to you today. And I really invite you to do this. Take 30 minutes sometime this week and do this for yourself, because next week I'm going to actually ask, did you do it? And I want to hear some. And I commit, there will be chocolate. I was told we had a board retreat yesterday, and several of my board members were on me that I haven't thrown chocolate in a while. So so next Sunday, if you write out, if you do this process and bring me your purpose statement, you may get chocolate. All right, so here is how it goes. 4 steps. The first step is identify two unique personality or personal qualities that you express that bring you joy. 2 qualities that are unique to you. Well, I mean, it doesn't mean that other people don't have them, but that they're yours, and that when you express them, they bring you joy. So give me some examples of, they're one word. Give me an example. Diana.
Dance.
Love, dance, sing, smiling, creativity, gardening, data. I love it. Yeah, that brings her joy. Yeah. Now, but Fran, that's not a quality of you. That's something you like. What's the quality in you that makes you like data? Analytical. Yeah. That's it. Okay. The quality in you is a teacher. Right. Okay. So I heard creativity, I heard music, I heard dance, okay. So we're going to play with this right now. Let us use creativity and dance. Okay? Those were 2 that I heard. Creativity and dance. Yeah. No. All right. Step 2 is, yeah. In one word, one or two ways in which you like to express that quality. So actually, I want to change something. I'm going to back up. Dance is actually the way you would express joy. Okay, so we're going to change dance to joy. Joy and creativity are going to be our words. Then, how do you enjoy expressing those qualities when you're interacting with others? So dance could be a way that you express joy. What's another way? Teaching would be a way that you express. Making cakes would be a way that, right, baking could be a way that you express. What are there other ways? Hugging, writing, photography, listening. Excellent. So let's go with teaching. What was another one? And photography. Those are 2 ways. All right? Perfect. Third part of this. So we've got part A, part B. Part C is in a very, very brief statement, starting with the words everyone is. We're going to identify the perfect world where everyone is what? Everyone in the world is what? Everyone in the world is dancing. Everyone in the world is happy. You could, yeah. Everyone is loved. Everyone is honest. Everyone is cared for. Everyone loves themselves. Everyone's on purpose. Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, those are perfect. So let's go with everyone's on purpose. Let's go with everyone's on purpose. All right? So you're going to identify for yourself the 2 unique qualities that bring you joy, the 2 ways in which you want to express them to others that brings you enjoyment, and then a brief, and you did it already, positive in the present tense statement of the perfect world. And you put those 3 elements together in a statement, and it creates your purpose statement. Let's just see what we've got there. My purpose is to use creativity and joy to teach and photograph everyone living on purpose. I knew what you were all going to say. I just knew it. Nah. We created that in the moment is what we did. Thank you, Nicole, back there for creating that for us. So there is an example. There it is. Was that hard? It was? Now, come on. That was pretty dang easy. I want you to spend a half an hour. I don't think it would even take that long to get into a quiet, meditative place and create this for yourself and bring it to us next Sunday. We'll look at it. So I want to give you a personal example of this. Many years, this isn't, as I said, not a new book. This is over 10 years old. So I've worked with it. When it first came out, we worked with it. And Lonnie and I played with a lot of the things that were in it. And we looked at this. And for years, I asked him if I could share this. For those of you new or relatively new, this is my husband, in case you didn't know that. He wasn't sure about his purpose. He's like, I know I do this, but I don't know my purpose. I don't know my purpose. So he got prayer for that. And lo and behold, after that, this book drops in our lap. And the second principle is to find your purpose. He went through that process. And his purpose statement based on that process is this. Don't tell me if this isn't Lonnie. With humor and creativity, my purpose is to facilitate learning in others so that they may live the life of their dreams. Yeah. Right? Is that not his? Yeah, right? Yeah. With humor and creativity, my purpose is to facilitate learning in others so that they may live the life of their dreams. It wasn't 3 weeks after that that a client he had worked with off and on for years came to him with a major project that involved creating an internet vehicle for students to prepare for taking the AIMS test using a variety of online learning modules. Do you think that was in line with his purpose? I think so. Fast forward now 10 years later, 11 probably. I don't know what year that book came out. I didn't look, but I got it right away. When Jack Canfield actually came to our center. This was bad. Do you remember that? You were there. He came to our... Catherine, you introduced him. You remember? You guys remember that? Yeah. He came and launched his book. He was doing a tour to launch the book, and he came to CLF and did a presentation. And so that's how long ago this was. Anyway, now look at this purpose statement, living in Lonnie's life. Look at his prison work that he's done now for many years, and now that's a prison ministry here at CLF, and how he has used his humor and creativity. I see it in the letters he writes to his guys and the conversations he has with them on the phone to facilitate learning in others so that they might live the life of their dreams, even where they are. Just this week, we got a letter from Emerson Institute, which is our educational organization that is supporting, and we are as well, Leo Wright, who is at Lewis Prison. You all hear about Leo all the time. Leo is taking religious science ministerial classes right now. He's becoming a religious science minister while in prison. And we got a letter from Angelo, the dean of Emerson Institute, and the letter says this: Leo's work exemplifies the growth of a higher state of consciousness. I am so deeply moved by this student's spiritual growth. Lonnie, I know that you have had a lot to do with this wonderful soul. Thank you for your compassionate heart. Love, Angelo. There, is his... That's what happens when you get clear about your purpose. So, two fundamental foundational things on which all of our success hinges. Take 100% responsibility. E plus R equals 0, or not 0, equals O. Not equals 0, it equals O. I have to look at the Freudian nature of that. I don't know exactly what that was all about, but that's for a different conversation, I think. So look at your R. That's what matters, is to look at your response this week, and then this week take 30 minutes or less to do this process of identifying and articulating your purpose. Because, remember the words of Marianne Williamson? It's our job to shine our light. And when we shine our big, bright, brilliant beam of radiant light, we make a difference in the world, and we are truly, truly successful. So let's pray on that. Take a deep breath. Close your eyes if that feels comfortable. And just come into the knowing that creative energy of life that is all there is lives and moves and has its being as me, lives and moves and has its being as each and every one of us. That essence of love, that essence of abundance, that essence of wholeness, that essence of energy lives and moves and has its being as me and as everyone. Particularly this morning, I speak everyone in this room and everyone watching us online, Facebook or live stream. That's the truth. That's our spiritual truth. And so I anchor our spiritual truth in accepting and affirming and knowing. And as I do, I set the law in motion that as we move forward into this week, that there is a renewed energy through us and in us that answers life in different ways. The response offered is the response from the divine. It is always, therefore, a response of wholeness, of love, of joy, of expansion, because we are abundance, love, wholeness, and expansion. So I call those qualities forth from us right here and right now. And I know that as we get on purpose, that this idea of success is truly ours. Because in fact, it already is ours. And getting clear about purpose simply brings it out. So we're ready, we're open, we're receptive, and we let it flow. And in the letting it flow, it is done. And in it being done, I celebrate. I rejoice and I know. I rejoice and I grow. I rejoice and I let it be. And so with faith, with trust, and with truth, I anchor this prayer. And together we say, and so it is. Amen.